Haboim, welcome everyone. We're about to begin Be'ezras Hashem together on Daf Tezvov Amud Aleph, starting with Daf Yudalid Amud Beis, 7 lines from the bottom. The Gemara had explained our Mishnah thus far as saying that one can be moisif tuma al tumosa. According to Rav Chanina Sgana Kohanim, you can take kodshim, that is a tuma of the third madrega, a shlishi, and you can mix it with a tuma of a rishon, causing the shlish to become nitma as a sheni, and you can burn them together. Because again, you can be moisif tuma al tumosa. Rabbi Akiva, he adds more, and he says you can bump it up more than just one level. You can bump it even further, from a shlishi to a rishon. In addition to that, Rabbi Akiva adds that even when it comes to truma, when it's a shlishi and you can no longer metame truma, because shlishi is limited for truma, you can't make a truma into a revi. Still, you can bump it up into a rishon, and thereby it will also metame into a sheni as well. The Gemara now comes back to the purpose of our discussion. What about when it comes to biur chametz? Can you take your truma, which is chametz tahor, and burn it together with your truma, which is chametz tmeya? Thereby, it will cause a problem of the chametz tahor becoming nitma. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Meir, quoting our Mishnah, Midivreim lo manu, from their words we learn that you can indeed burn the two together. Says the Gemara, Midivreim deman, which words are we referring to? Ilema midivrei Rabbi Chanina Sgana Kohanim. If you're going to say that Rabbi Meir learns that you can burn truma that is tamei together with your truma that is tahor in terms of your biur chametz, then what's the comparison to Rav Chanina's din? Hasam tamei v'tamei, hacha tar v'tamei. In Rav Chanina's case, we're talking about that which was already tamei, that was nitma to be a shlishi. You can go ahead and burn that kachim with that which is nitma to be a rishon, causing the shlishi to become a sheni. So it was already nitma. But over here, in the case of chametz, you're talking about taking chametz that is truma tahara, and then burning it together with truma tameya, causing the truma tahara to become nitma. Says the Gemara, ve'ella midivrei Rabbi Akiva. Rather, you're going to say that Rabbi Meir learns from the words of Rabbi Akiva. Midami also, how is that comparable? How can you compare one to the other? Hasam pasul psul v'tamei, hacha tar v'tamei. In the case of Rabbi Akiva, there we're talking about truma. So the truma that's a shlishi, granted it cannot metame, but it itself is pasul. So then you're bringing it up, you're bumping it up to a rishon, which is now able to be metame to the making a sheni, truma into a sheni. But over here, it's not even pasul. Over here, you have, again, truma that is tahor. And you're taking the truma that is tahor, you're going to mix it to burn it with truma that is tmeya. That, how can you have a precedent from Rabbi Akiva? Says the Gemara, Neima kisav Rabbi Meir masnisin be'av hatuma di oraisa uvlad hatuma di rabbanan. Let us say that Rabbi Meir holds that from the words in our Mishnah, that when it comes to the case of Rav Chanina Sgana Kohanim, the kachim that is shlishi, that is midirabanan, that's nitma midirabanan, it's tamim midirabanan. Because it came from a vlad, in the lashon of the Mishnah, vlad hatuma, which is really a vlad hatuma. So it's a shlishi which is dirabanan. That can be mixed with a davar that is a rishon, that is nitma di araisa. And you can burn the two together. So what comes out? It comes out that the shlishi does midirabanan, really midiaraisa though, it is not tamei at all. And yet you're able to take that shlishi and then together burn it with the rishon. So you already have a precedent. So too over here, when it comes to then the chametz, that is truma tahara, midiaraisa, you're able to go ahead and burn it with your truma tmeya, meaning to say that here we're talking about the beginning of the 6th hour. So truly, midiaraisa, it's not usr, it's not prohibited. the chametz, and yet you're saying that the truma tahara has to be destroyed. So that means that midirabanan we're going to destroy it with the truma tmeya, even though on a deraisa level it's not yet prohibited. Says the Gemara. Once again, Ne'ma kesov Rabbi Meir masnisin be'av hatuma di'araisa uvlad hatuma dirabanan. That's the case of Chanina Skana Kohanim. The midiraisa tahor ma'alya. That midiraisa really is tahor. That kachim, which is a shlish with a shlishi, is not tmeya midiraisa. It's tahor midiraisa. And yet he says you can go ahead and burn it with a rishon on top of tezvav and aleph. Ask the Gemara in this case, Umay midivrim, if you're going to learn, say that Rabbi Meir is learning from the words of Rav Chanina, so then why does it say in the Lashon, midivreim lamadnu? From their words we learn. Midivrei Rabbi Chanina Sgan HaKohanim. So you have to say it means from the words of Chanina, Rav Chanina Sgan HaKohanim. Says the Gemara weiter, Omar Reish Lakish Mishum Bar Kapara, he has another mahalach. Masnisin ba'avatuma di araisa. Uvlada tuma deraisa. Rav Reish Lakish is arguing and says, no. The Mishnah is talking about that the shlishi is the araisa. And therefore it's nitma, it's kachim that's nitma as a shlishi deraisa. You're able to then burn it together with the rishon that is tame deraisa as well. Umay midivrehem. And what is midivrehem meaning? Midivrei Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yoshua. It doesn't come from the words of Rav Chanina and Rabbi Akiva. No, that which Rabbi Meir learns is coming from a machlokes between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yoshua. As follows, this nan, it states in the Mishnah, Chavis shel truma shenoilad lo safek truma. If you have a chavis of yayin, that is of truma, and let's say there was 2 barrels of wine, and you saw that there was a sheretz that was mitame one of the barrels of wine, but you don't know which barrel of wine of the truma was nitma. So it says it's a suffix now. Rabbi Eliezer oimer im haisa munachas b'mokam haturpa yanichene b'mokam hamutzna. If this barrel of wine, which is now in a state of suffix tamei, suffix tohar. So this, if it was in a place that was mokam hatorfa, which means a mokam hatorfa means a mokam of mufkar, that was hefker, then yanichine mokam hamutzna, then place it in a place that is hidden. The im haisa magula yichasena, and if similarly it is in a place that is open, then place it in a place that is covered up. In other words, Rabbi Eliezer says that even when it comes to that which is safek truma tahor and safek truma tameh, you still have a requirement of being shomer the truma. The pasuk states in regards to truma, it says, "Vani hinei nosati lecha es mishmeres trumoisoi." So he's learning trumosoi in the Lashon Rabim, that it's going also not only on truma that is tahor, but also truma that is a suffix. Rabbi Eliezer requires that you then protect it. Rabbi Yoshua argues, and he says no. Rabbi Yoshua Omer, im haisa munachas v'mokom hamutzna yanichene v'mokom haturpa. If you found this barrel of wine that is suffix tamei, suffix tahor, which is truma, then if you found it in a place that was hidden, then put it in a place that is going to be hefker. And if the imhaisa muchasa mechusa yigalena, if you find it in a place that's hidden, then put it in a place that is revealed. So he holds that no, trumosai in the pasuk doesn't refer to plural. It refers to the truma that is Torah that you have to protect. And therefore he says that there's a concern that maybe someone will be nichshal with this chavis of yayin that might be truma, it's a suffix. Therefore he says, rather take it, which is a place which is hidden, and put it in a place that is now going to be hefker, or revealed, because that way it'll become tameh. Says the Gemara, how can you use Rabbi Yoshua as a precedent for Rabbi Meir's din? Midami, it's not comparable. Hasam groma ba'alma hachabiyadayim. There, Rabbi Yoshua said you should go take that barrel that was hidden and put it in a place that is going to be then hefker or megula. That is only allowing the truma that is in suffix to then potentially become tameh. It's a grama. he's not actually doing it with his own hands himself. But over here, Rabbi Meir wants to say you're taking the truma, the chametz that is truma tahor, and you're going to then burn it with your chametz truma that is tameya. That is taking it and doing it biyadayim. That's not a good, therefore it's not a good comparison. Eloha Rabbi Yehoshua. Rather, it's this statement of Rabbi Yehoshua in a different Mishnah. States the following. This nam. Chavis shel truma shenishba begas ha'elyoino. If you have a chavis of wine of truma that was with wine that is tahar, and it broke on the upper part of the gat. The gas is a place where we have the wine press, and the wine press has on the top, on the elyoino, that's where the actual wine press is. Then it has a pipe that goes down into a bore where it's kept bitachtoino. So it states over here, the chavis of yayin, that is of wine tahor, truma wine tahor, that broke where the wine press was. Vehatachtoina chulin tmein. And down below, in the pit, there is chulin tmein. That means wine that is chulin tmein, and therefore could be you can drink it for somebody who is tameh, or even a person is not careful from becoming tameh. He can also drink it. And here we have a scenario. What's going to be with this yayin that is above, that broke, the chavis above broke, when it will then go down the tzinor, if you leave it as is, it's going to then go into the bottom of the pit, of the bore, where the chulin tmeim is, whereby it'll then mix with the chulin, and it'll become then, not only will be off limits to non-kohanim, but it'll also become off limits to kohanim, because it'll be a mixture of truma with chulin tmeim. That means the truma will be tamei as well. So what should you do? It's a machlokes. Says over here, if you have the ability to save that chavis of yayin, at least a revis, the chavis of yayin tohor that had broken before it reaches down into the bore below where the chulin tmeim is, and you can go ahead and take a vessel that is tohor and capture at least a revis of this yayin, then everybody agrees that's what you should do, because that'll be then included in the requirement of mishmeres, of protecting truma from becoming tamei. V'im la, but what happens if you cannot do that? You only have kelim that are tmeim. So therefore, what's going to be then the response? Well, you take the kelim that are tmeim and actively metame the yayin of truma tahara that is on its way down. That way you're also protecting the bore from down below, from becoming then a mixture of truma and chulin. Or do you let it go on its own at the expense of the bore down below becoming now an admixture of truma and chulin and also becoming tamei? Says the Gemara, it's a machlokes. Rabbi Eliezer oimer teired v'sitame vayitamenu biyad. Rabbi Eliezer says, let it go down, so that you do not actively metame the wine that is tahor with a kli that is tamei, because that's the only keli that you have available to then save this wine of tahor that is on its way down. So he said, better to leave it the way it is and let it go and then mix with the chulin tmein down below. That way you're at least not actively causing truma to become tamei. Rabbi Yehoshua oimer af yitamena biyad. Whereas Rabbi Yehoshua argues and he says you should take the kli that is tamei, capture the wine on its way down, whereby you're saving the mammon down below, the chulin tmein, from becoming an admixture. So here we have l'chara precedent. You are saving, you're going ahead and being metame truma that is truma tahara. You're doing that biyadayim. So the Gemara says, Ihochi hai midivrehem midivarav miboile. Then if that which is the limud from Rabbi Yehoshua, why does Rabbi Meir state in the Mishnah midivrehem, from their words? It's really from his words, the words of Rabbi Yehoshua. Answers the Gemara, Hochi kamar mimachloikton shel Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Yehoshua lamanu. From their machlokes between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yehoshua, we learn out. And since the halacha is always like Rabbi Yehoshua, therefore we will say then we learn out from their words, but really it's coming out from Rabbi Yeshua's position. Deikanam, we can also medayik this from the lashon of our Mishnah. When Rabbi Yossi challenges Rabbi Meir, he says, Diktani, Moide Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yeshua. Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua, according to Rabbi Yossi, say that they will both agree when it comes to burning chametz of truma tameya with chametz that is truma tahara, that you have to do it separately. You can't do it together. So the fact that he brings Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Eliezer shmamin that indeed this is the hoichacha that Rabbi Meir is coming to bring, because Rabbi Yossi is responding to Rabbi Meir. V'chein Amar Rab Nachman Amar Rabbi Bar Avua, and so we have another Amora that learns this way. Masnisim ba'ava tuma diaraiso v'lada tuma diaraiso, just like Reish Lakish said in the name Bar Kapora, that we're talking about where the tuma is the araisa. That means that the tuma is the araisa, and the Vlada Tuma is deraisa, the Shlish is deraisa, and the Avatuma, that Rishon becomes deraisa as well. Umaymi Divrem. So then what was it meant from Rabbi Meir's Haychacha that we learned from their words? Who was referring to? Mediv Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yoshua, not from the words of Rav Chanina and Rabbi Akiva, who are talking about kachim that are nitma, to be burned with kachim that are nitma, or Rabbi Akiva is talking about truma that's nitma, that being burned with truma that's nitma. No. We're talking about the machlokes between Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Eliezer, and the fact that the halach is like Rabbi Yeshua. We're holding like that as the precedent for the din that you can burn truma of chametz tahor together with truma of chametz tamei.